Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial I would like us to talk about global scopes, and I just want to have an example, and in this example what you will find that in an application there are some of the things that or in other words the queries that you run on the database and maybe more constantly as such. So in this case, maybe in every user request you are checking maybe if they're active or not, or something of that sort. So I would like us to use global scope in this tutorial and then see how we can be able to work with it. So this is a web.php file. So in other words, the routes web.php, where we are returning the view welcome. And here I would like to just use app models. So just to import a model here, the user model, user, like that, so such that we can be able to use it. So you might find sometimes you can be able to run something like this, return user, or maybe we can save it to a variable user, where, so the model user, where maybe active or is active is 1. So in this case this user is active, and then we want to fetch all the users who fit that criteria. And just to mention, I have already I'm running my XAMPP. So in this case we are connected to our database, and I would like to just show you what I have in the database. We have a users table and it has 50 records. So in this case, if we are to open it, as you can see, we have users with an is active column, where we're having ones and zeros. So in other words, if it's a 0, the user is not active. It's a 1, the user is active. So in this case, if we are running this command, we're expecting it to get us all the users who are active. So I'm going to save, and maybe because our application is running, just run localhost 8000, and it's going to fetch for us some users. So in this case, we have received some users, and for all these users, the column is active is set to 1. So all these users that you have gotten from the database are active users. So I would like us to use global scopes to be able to do something of this sort. So let us go straight ahead, and the next thing we're going to do is to just create the scope. So I'm going to run a command here, php artisan make. In this case we are creating a scope, and the name of the scope, I'm going to call it active user, like that. We are going to create it. The scope is created, so we can be able to find it under app models, then scopes. So this is our active user scope. I would like to move this one a little bit down such that you can be able to see the code as we work with it. So as you can see, we have active user class implement scope, and here we have public function apply, and this is where we are going to pass in our whatever it is that we are checking in this case. So what we are going to do here is to just check where the user is active. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say builder, where is active, is underscore active, because that is how the column that I have in my database. And then we are going to say we just want the ones where is active is set to 1. So that is the case. And after that, we will go to our user model. So let me open the user model. Yes, the user model, and we are going to override the booted function. So that is what we are going to put here, and maybe we can do it towards the end. Let me just push it up a bit such that it's in a place where it can be visible, whatever it is that we are doing. So here we are going to have protected static function booted, and then we have void because we are not returning anything, and then we're going to have it like that. That way we're going to have the curly braces like that, and we are just going to say static add global scope, and in this case our global scope is called what? We have set it here, so we can say active user, and then we are also going to import that active user scope. So in this case we are going to have use app models, use app models, in this case scopes, and then the name of the scope active user, like that, and then we will save. In this case we have a problem with our code. I do not know. Yes, I think it's because of this we have not been able to close that one. So I would like us to attempt and see if this thing is going to work perfectly. So now, instead of what we were having in our web.php, I would like to change this, and just instead of saying user where is active is 1, because we have already stated that in our scope, I just want to check the database and return all users. So in this case we are going to check again, and as you can see, almost, and in this case it's actually the same number of users, or the same number of users that we had returned first are being returned here again. So maybe I can pass something and say count, and we see if we are going to get how many they are. So in this case we are having 26 users, and if we are to go the previous way, still we will be able to get the same number of users. That is all for this tutorial video. And the other thing that you can be able to do before I finish with this video, in this case now it will be strictly taken the way we have set it in the global scope. So whenever we call the users, it will only be fetching the active users. So in this case, if you want to override and be able to include also the other group of users which we were not getting, maybe you can say something of this sort. I think it's important to mention, you can say user, and then without global scope. So user without global scope. User without global scope, and then inside here we are going to mention the name of our global scope. So in this case, active user, active user, like that, class. that way. So in this case, we will be able to now get all the users regardless of whatever it is, whatever their role. So in this case, maybe I can say return, and then return, and then comment this one such that we see what this one is going to give us. So if I have user without global scope, I think that is okay. So if we again attempt, now it's going to give us more users than whatever it is that you're having initially. So in this case, 50 users. So I think that is it for this video. Thank you very much. The code for this tutorial is attached in the description, and I ask that you may support us by subscribing, by commenting, and by also sharing this video such that we can be able to create more useful and engaging videos. Thank you very much.